Hey y'all. Sorry, this is a little, we're right on time, honestly, but we were like cutting it to the wire. I was shoving food in my mouth really quickly to get some lunch in. Okay, and I just got my salted caramel, so I'm so excited to make that later. I hope everybody else has gotten theirs. I am really excited about this Monday Masterclass. I asked Melissa to come and talk to y'all for probably a lot of reasons if I had to count them all, but couple things to note. Melissa and I are both Rosalind's level ones, but we are so similar and so different over the last 9 years. And so I really want her to talk to you kind of about her story so you can see a totally different growth pattern and like leadership role. Melissa is a constant learner. And so for me, I feel like I'm constantly learning from her because she is an absorber of information and knowledge and like always doing better, whether it's for her body or her mind or her spirit, whatever it is. I feel like she's constantly like, there's one step up. I can do better. I can do better. I can do better. And I just love that constant desire to grow. It's an inspiration. She also is like so focused on like eye on the prize kind of stuff. And I need that. Sometimes I need someone to go, but what are we doing? What are we doing to get where we want to go? And I love that she is willing to pay for master classes and show up big in a lot of ways. She went and audited the Jewels of Excellence last 2 weeks ago. We had the option, a couple of us, only a few of us had the option to spend our own money and fly down to Fort Lauderdale and actually just audit this training that we'd already actually done. And she was like, I'm going to better myself and I'm going to it. She goes to gold school as a diamond. She shows up when her team goes to gold school. She goes to gold school. She makes it a point. And I just think all of these things are really important when you see what do you want to be as a leader? Like, I want you to write down some things today, like keep a separate kind of note sheet of like, who do I want to be as a leader? And I think you're going to like fill in some qualities you maybe didn't have before after listening to Melissa today. I love Melissa. I met her. I'm going to tell y'all real quick. I met her going to a Super Saturday. I had been an ambassador for all of, I think 6 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. And Roz was like, you have to go to Super Saturday. This is when it was all over the country, which is not anymore. But I was like, okay. She's like, it's in Fort Worth. I was like, I don't really know if I want to drive out to Fort Worth all by myself. I mean, I had, a team. They were, mostly in Houston and kind of scattered customers and wasn't gold yet. And she was like, well, a couple of my girls that are already on my team are going to meet together and you can just jump in a car with them. And I was like, I don't know any of these people. Come to find out, Melissa and I have a huge mutual network. But at the time I knew nobody. And I got in a car with these women and I spent all day with them driving out to Fort Worth and going to Super Saturday and driving back. And it was such a belief builder for me early in my business. So I want you to I say sit back and listen, but really what I want you to do is fervently and intentionally take notes. And I want you to take action. I want you to write A's next to things you want to take actions next to, write little notes to yourself about what you want to come back around to, what you want to dig into. And if you have a question, put a question mark, go ahead and write it down, put a question mark. And then when we get to the end, if we have time for Q&A, I want you to jump on unmuting and asking your question. So already have your question ready as you're listening. Melissa is going to speak belief into us. I'm so excited. So Melissa, this floor is all yours.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Y'all, I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to go put on more deodorant because I'm nervous to be on Andrea's call. So now that the whole world knows, because we're recording, diamonds do get nervous, okay? I am just like anybody else that just stepped into this business, and you're always learning and growing, and I love Andrea so much, and it's such a privilege. And she's right. We all jumped into an SUV together whenever we first met, and I was so excited to be at the very back because, guys, I am an introvert. I'm an ambivert. So I'm an extrovert whenever I have to be, but I'm the biggest introvert that has been transformed in 9 years of this business. I am somebody that I never was 9 years ago. It's mind-blowing what the Lord does. So whenever he brings you into this business, he brings you with great purpose. And I want you to know that first and foremost, that you are here. There's purpose behind why you're here. And there's going to be a transformation if you will allow it to happen. You get to choose. You get to choose. You know, Andrea said, was talking about leadership of excellence that I had the honor and privilege of being at a couple of weeks ago. And I went to the first one in 2016 whenever I turned Emerald. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story with that just super quick. So I'm going to talk so fast because I actually want to hear from you guys. But I went as a learner. You know, we all, even you on this call right now, we all have heard some of the same things over and over again, and we get to choose if we want to hear it differently today. And I have some beautiful leaders that are on here with me right now supporting me, and they've heard this, and they get to choose if they want to hear it again with purpose, and maybe something triggers them a little bit differently. And whenever I went 2 weeks ago, not only was I going to listen with purpose and to continue to learn and be a student, because we always are, there were so many things that I was like, man, why did I forget doing that? Why did I stop doing that? And that's what I think is so great about the brilliance of this masterclass, that you have the privilege to be on every week and showing up, not listening to a recording, but literally putting it on your calendar and showing up because you are becoming someone. And this is fueling you. No matter who you hear from, no matter if it's your 5th, 10th time to hear it, there is something there that you kind of go, why did I forget to, why did I stop? Why did that was working for me. Why did I quit doing it? And that was the one thing that really stood out for me being there, that was first and foremost. The other thing, guys, is the excellence of the trainers. Now you're going to see it at Gold School. Oh my Lanta, the trainers at Gold School, Ruby's on the Rise, Leadership of Excellence. These are diamonds that are doing the work every single day. Many are personal friends of mine. And I sat there and felt so honored and proud to be getting to sit in that room. What a privilege. And B, believing what was being spoken from the stage, because it's women of integrity and men of integrity that do the work. They're just not speaking out at you. They are living it themselves. And that's another thing that I think about right here is the people that Andrea and Becky and the different ones bring to you every time is people that are doing the work, that are learning themselves. And we have the privilege of showing up for that. The other thing that really stood out for me, because anytime I step into a room for the first time, I'm in that little girl with no voice every single day, introvert. And I have to remember that I have a seat at the table. And I think about you today, that you have a seat at the table every single time and you get to choose. I got to sit with people that I do not know and introduce myself and ask them about their life and figure out some new things and sit at different locations every time we went back into session and be comfortable with it and know that I was being stretched. And that is beautiful for us to remember that. But I'm going to share this, and then we're going to step into some of the stuff that I get the honor to talk about, that the Lord just really has me in this space right now, that I'm excited to share with you. This is one thing that was said. This is from our leadership booklet, and I think it just goes in so beautifully. I want you to hear this and write down maybe even some keywords. True entrepreneurs, which is who you are right now today. If you're on this call, you are an entrepreneur. If you choose to be. True entrepreneurs have defined the unique way they will contribute to this world. They know who they are and what they stand for. They're not looking to just be successful or leave a legacy. It's more than that. It's about contribution, purpose, a mission, and fulfilling the vision of what they believe they were placed here to do. They aren't concerned with imitating strategies to replicate another's journey. That's so key. They want to map their own extraordinary path and live their own extraordinary life and achieve what was previously deemed impossible. And I love that because that's what we're here to do. It's our giftedness, our personality. It's God placing us here with purpose of the work that we're called to do. And when we gather like this, we gather to glean from each other, to lift each other up, to encourage each other, but not to compare with each other, not to compete with each other, only to make ourselves better of the journey that we're called to do. And I think that that's so beautiful. And I just spent time that day of highlighting words in that. Maybe you can go back and listen to that recording and write it all out, and then figure out where you are within that. And so what I wanted to share with you today, and we're in the midst of the holidays and we're stepping into one of the greatest dates of our lifetime, and that is Christmas and the birth of Jesus. But I want to talk about joy and why we should have joy in our business every single day. And I absolutely love this word. You know, I do believe that vision is key to our success. Without a doubt, if you don't have vision, you will perish, is what truth says. And I believe it. If you don't have a reason to wake up every day, you're probably not going to get out of bed. You're not going to spring out. You're not going to want to get any of your work done, whether it's in the home, online business, in the community. There is something about vision and purpose that you have to have. But I promise you, joy sustains you. Joy sustains you. I have been doing this business for 9 years. A couple of weeks ago, I was asked by one of our brand new business builders, like, what is it that keeps you going after 9 years? What is it that makes you show up? Vision, absolutely, without a doubt. My vision has not been fulfilled, and I will not quit until I either see Jesus face to face or I get to participate in what I've been called to do. But the second is joy. If I don't have joy every single day, I'm doing something wrong, because we're called to have an abundant life and to have a joy-filled life. And I was thinking about the word joy. You don't have to unmute yourself, but I literally want you to say out loud the word joy on 3. 1, 2, 3. Joy. Can anybody, I'm trying to see, say it again, joy. Okay, first and foremost, all of y'all, I need to see your faces. But number 2, because I can't test this, but I don't think you can say joy without smiling. I always think about whenever I was preparing, and this weekend I was praying through today, and you know the song that always comes to my head, and I'm not a singer. I was one day, right? I will be one day. But like, I had the joy, joy, joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart, right? I have 4 little babies that I get to sing that to every single week. It makes you smile. It gets you excited. And I want you to think about that, because that is part of who we are. And whenever I look up the word joy in the Hebrew and in the Greek, and I love to kind of see where names come from, but guys, I want you to hear this. The word joy in Hebrew is a glad result. It's not a glad moment presently sometimes. It's a result of what will be. That is joy. It makes me immediately, I don't know where you stand with believing in Jesus Christ or not, but it is kind of a foundation of who I am. So I really can't be me without speaking him. But when you think, if you know the story of Jesus, like, he died on a cross for every one of us. And in scripture, it says, with the joy set before him, he endured the cross. Like, he went through the hardship because the joy was on the other side. And that's what I think about whenever I think about this word, whenever it says it's a glad result. He knew the result of his hardship. He knew the result of all the mocking and the judgment and the spitting and the hurting and the beating. And he endured it because he knew it was on the other side. And so I want you to think about that whenever you think about joy in your business, because you might be doing your winning days, your IPAs, your reach outs, you're going live whenever you just like, it makes me sweat to death whenever I have to go live. And it's not the moment, it's the result of what happens from it, of how you grow, but how you're blessing somebody else, and realizing that and seeing that for what it is. That is the joy that comes from this. It is like a core identity of who you are. And I really, really believe in this work. it is used for us to see the areas of character that needs to be really scraped and cut off, and the areas that need to be bloomed and blossomed, because it is an identity of the coreness of who you are, of your worth and your value. That is that joy that comes from there. And I always think that, joy is the being of your character that impacts the doing of your work. It's the being of your character that is the doing of your work. That is the joy that is happening. And so I want you to think about that in your business as we talk. And I want to just go over 5 things, just 5 things of how you find joy in your business starting today. And I am that kind of person. If you're in my team, you know this. I'm very interactive. So I hope you're taking notes, number 1. But number 2, you're going to rate yourself here in a bit. So I want you to have out a pen and pencil. No, pen or pencil, but a piece of paper, so that you can rate yourself. So as you think through this, go ahead and start thinking about how you would rate yourself. So the first one is purpose. We talked a little bit about vision. We talked about that joy is what sustains us. If you're not having some form of laughter and gratitude and serving other people in every single one of your days, it's what fuels you. But purpose is such a big piece. And I want you to see your business. If you want to see joy in your business, you have to see that purpose isn't one-dimensional. Like, the purpose of you being in this business isn't just to make money. I really hate to break it to you that way. The money isn't the end all, and money isn't happiness. It's way more dimensional in purpose of why you've been called to this business. And I really do believe if you're sitting on this call right now and you've taken out the time to be on this Zoom, and you are a student and you want to grow up as an entrepreneur and you want to impact, I promise you it's more than money. There is purpose within that. It goes way beyond all your reach outs, all your follow-ups, all your posting, all your working on content. It's so much more than your daily activity. Purpose really is a legacy. It's how you want to be remembered. It's how you impact people. It's the way that you make people feel when you're living out your days. That is your purpose. Years and years ago, before I was in this business, I was asked, and you have probably heard this, if you had all the money, all the resources, and all the time, everything that you needed was at your disposal, like you needed none of that, what would you be doing? And I really want you to think about that. Like, if there was no obstacle of time, resources, or finances, or support, right? Other people helping you, what would you be doing right now? What would you be building? Who would you be inspiring? What gifts and talents do you have right now that light you up when you are doing them? Your purpose is found inside of that. So this, guys, get this. When you understand your purpose, your giftedness, your personality, your talents, your experiences that got you to where you are today, whenever you think about what lights you up, and if you could do anything in life, build anything, inspire anybody, lift people up and develop them, and that would just be like, this is it. I promise you, this business is your vehicle to get there. And when you understand that and realize that, there is a joy of enduring the hardship because of the result on the other side. And that's what I want you to get. So that's number 1, is understanding purpose is such a big, big, big piece. The second thing that I want you to think about is being present. Now, for us to do this business and for us to sit down every day and say, okay, sitting down, it's my IPA time. I've got to do all these different things of my posts, my reach outs, my lives. I've got to think through how I'm going to train my people, all those different things, how I'm going to train myself. You have to be present. And it all starts with, why am I here? And guys, I promise you, there's a lot of times that I sit down and go, God, why am I here right now? Like, what is the purpose of me sitting down and getting ready to have to grind it out? Like, why are you doing the work that you're doing? There's a lot of that for your family and for your future and the ways that you're going to impact that vision and that purpose. But this is the deal. Every time that you get ready to do this, for you to have joy in this business, you really do have to set intention. You really do have to set intention of, why am I here? What is my gift? What is my talent? Why have I been called to this space? Why have I been called to care for these people, these VIPs, these team leaders? What is the purpose there? For me, I really have to get there through gratitude, through getting anchored in the word. And I have to do it every single day. Sometimes I have to do it multiple times in the day, depending on what's going on with my day, of just reminding myself of my worth and my purpose. And I think one of the greatest ways that we find joy in our business and setting intention is the realization that that reach out that you don't want to do, or that follow up that you've got these negative thoughts that they're ghosting you, the realization that you might be the one person that speaks their name today with love, that encourages them today, that prays over them. Do you pray over your people, your potentials? You could be the one person, and that could be your purpose for today. And my hope is that that brings you joy of realizing that you're being used in that way. There's this quote that's attributed to Albert Einstein, and it says, there are only two ways to look at life. One is as if nothing is a miracle, and the other is as though everything is a miracle. How are you going to view your days? How do you view your life? How do you view all your experiences to this place and you even being alive today, right? So really being present in your moment, setting intention of why don't just go through the motions. There's so much work that we have to do consistently every single day that compounds the effect of our work and brings results. But please don't just go through the motions, because I promise you, you will go nowhere with it. You will be the mouse on the treadmill, like the hamster on the treadmill, right? But whenever you have intention and purpose within it, there is joy that comes from it, because you know that you're being used to impact. That's number two. Number three is choose positive words. If you want joy, use joy words. Amen. Like, choose words that are positive in your life. Words have such power over you and over your life. And you know that. How many things do we remember that's negative, that it's been spoken or we've spoken to ourselves, over the things that are positive? And understanding how when you choose positive words, it changes your mind. It changes your mood. There's a book, it's called Words Can Change Your Brain. It says a single word, guys, a single word has the power to influence the expression of genes that regulate physical and emotional stress. A single word. So the word joy or happy or love, it builds resiliency. Studies are showing that it improves your brain function. Who doesn't need improving brain function? The older I get, I'm like, amen, I need the brain to be working. So it does that for you. But get this, even words that like, how are you today? And you saying, not bad. That not bad is actually a negative connotation on your brain. Can you believe that? Like, instead of saying not bad, I would rather you say, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, it's a half and half, right? Not bad at 50% not bad, but 50% pretty good. It changes the way that your brain thinks and works, and your stress level and your hormones and the things that are happening. So choose words in your day. And I don't know, y'all probably didn't notice, but my phone just went off right whenever we got started, because I have words in my phone that I have chosen to be reminded every single day, several times throughout the day, so that I am choosing words that speak life over me. So that in that, as I practice what I'm speaking over myself, guess what? It floods out to speaking that over other people. If you are judging yourself so harshly and you're so cruel to yourself, and the words that you choose for yourself are so negative, I promise there's no way that you can love others and speak life over them genuinely, because we have to love first. Do you realize loving yourself first? That is the fluidity of being able to love others and to have compassion over others. Realizing the grace given to you allows you to give grace to others. And so being able to see that, that's number 3. Number 4, we're going fast. Celebrate the small things. I always talk about doing a celebration dance, y'all. Y'all wouldn't want to watch me do reels of celebration dances, but I love to move my body. It changes the way that I feel. Celebrate the small things every single day. Remember who you were prior to plexus and who you are today. The energy that you have, the healing that you have, the clarity of mind that you have. Celebrate those things. Celebrate your business. You might not have your first VIP this month, but celebrate everybody that you've affected with your words that are positive, how you've reached out to them, how that you've spoken life over them and prayed over them. Celebrate those things. Celebrate who you are becoming because of this business. Celebrate in the joy of connecting with others. I think that that's one of the greatest things of this business, is that you are being paid to learn to reconnect with people, to learn to communicate love to people and to meet people where they are. You need to celebrate those things and think through those things. And then the last thing is giving back. If you want joy in this business, you got to be giving back. You've got to be giving to others. And I'm not talking about a financial gift. I'm talking about giving back your time, your resources, your skills, your encouragement, your expertise. We always talk about these posts of adding value. Think about how you're giving back through some of those different ways. That abundant joy. I really do believe that the secret of living is giving. And so for a lot of you, if you don't have joy in your life, I would question the 5 things that we've gone through. But one of the biggest things is, how are you being a giver today? How have you given your time today, your resources today? Who have you checked on today? Who have you made soup for today, right? So thinking through being able to do that. So those are the 5 areas of joy that I think are probably the top areas of joy, fueling, if you will. But I want us to rate us real quick. So pen and paper out. I love to do a rating of 1 to 10. 1 being that you really aren't good at it at all. 10 being like you are an expert, like you could actually train on it for days in that area. Okay, so here it goes. Here's number 1. And you probably, I know for me, I do a lot of rating of myself at the end of the day. So you write these things out, say kind of where you are at this point in your life of 2022. And then maybe start using this rating scale every night to kind of grade yourself, measure yourself of how you're learning and how you're growing. Number 1, today I leaned into my purpose. That was the very first one that we talked about. I know my why in this business. I have a vision for my future and how I want to impact the world around me. So my home, my community, my church, and I live it out every single day. So rate yourself a 1 being, I don't know my why or my purpose, or a 10 being, I am fully focused in on my purpose and I know my why and I'm living it out daily. So 1 to 10, where would you scale yourself on purpose? Second is, I want you to think of 1 thing that you can start doing today to move that needle up by 1 point. 1 thing that you can start doing today. It might be, I need to figure out my purpose. I need to sit with my upline. I need to sit with somebody that's excellent at doing this and helping me figure out what that looks like. So think through what's 1 thing that you could do. The second one is, when you're doing your plexus work, are you fully present within that 30 minutes or that hour? When you sit down, have you set intention for your work time? And are you fully present in it so that you can be fully present with your family later, fully present with your community later? 1 is, I haven't figured it out. I feel very chaotic at all times. I feel like that I'm stressing out my family when I'm working my business. And whenever I'm working my business, I'm thinking of everything else. Versus 10, yeah, I'm time blocking. I've got it down. I've got my intention and I'm set. and I'm zoned in. And whenever I'm with my family, I'm fully present with my family. And it is truly a joy. So where are you between 1 and 10? And now I want you to think of one thing that you can do to move your needle up by 1 point. What can you do differently? And it might be, I got to get my rear end in gear and really time block. I really do. So many of us say, man, I love to live fluid. I don't want to have a schedule, but all it does is bring frustration every single day. So maybe there's a bad habit that you need to move out and bring in a good habit that's actually going to serve you, right? That's number 2. Number 3, on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, right? You choose positive words to speak over yourself, to describe yourself, your day, your business, your team, your friendships. You use positive words. So rate yourself between 1 and 10. 1 is allow negative words to be part of my thought life from the moment I wake up, to a 10 being, I am learning that positive words bring positive reactions to my body and mind, and I'm choosing wisely how I speak life over me. Are you a 1 or a 10, somewhere in between? What's one thing that you can start doing? It might be that you put words into your phone as alarms, right? What's the one thing that you can do to move that by 1 point? And just do that for the month of December, right? Number 4, celebration. Are you celebrating every single day? You celebrate those small wins, maybe a workout or eating healthy or playing in the floor with your babies. Every single day you're doing something and you're celebrating your reach outs, your prayer life, and how you're praying over your leaders and your prospects and your VIPs. So rate yourself of a 1. I actually don't celebrate at all. I'm so goal oriented and accomplishments that I never celebrate. Or a 10, I literally do a happy dance 3 times a day because I celebrate life and everything that I am becoming in the way that I'm impacting people. 1 to 10. And what is one thing that can help you start celebrating your business and your life that you can start doing today that will up you by 1 point? So write down that one thing. And then lastly, number 5, I want you to rate yourself on giving. How did you give back this month, this year, today? On a scale of 1 to 10, did you encourage another person? Did you take a meal to someone who's sick? Did you make a phone call to somebody that needs prayer? Did you buy gas for a stranger? Did you give a smile to someone in Target today? Did you mail somebody a snail mail note so that they get it in the mail this week? Between 1 and 10, 1 is I thought about people today, but I didn't take action. Or 10, I did an act of kindness today and served another. Where are you on your scale between 1 and 10, honestly rating yourself? How did you serve and give back to somebody today? And what is one thing that you can start doing this week in the month of December that will move that up by 1 point? Okay, so in the end, joy is a choice. It is a choice. It is a being of your core identity. It is seeing the end game and doing the work, the hardship to get to that spot. And there are different ways that you can bring joy into your life. And so I hope that that was good. I hope that in some way it was an aha for you. But Andrea, I'm handing it back over to you, girl.
I took so many notes. And I think what's really phenomenal is I think all of us could go back through and re-listen to this and go, oh, I missed that the first time. Or there's so many like things I wrote down that I needed to do, or do I do this daily? Like, I think I do it like in a week span, but am I being intentional about doing it daily? Am I actually like maybe journaling like every day? Like this is what I did in my purpose. This is what I did with intention. This is like actually going through and kind of what she was talking about, that rating, but saying like, I think I'm really good at giving, but did I give anything yesterday? Like, did I give of my time? Did I give of, like, and when you write it down and you do it daily, it kind of actually keeps you like your brain focused on it all day instead of being like, no, I'm really good at this. Like, I would say some of y'all are probably like, I think I know what my purpose is. And then you're like, but I've never written it down. I don't actually maybe know what my purpose is. I mean, I know maybe I show up every day because I get paid to show up, but maybe I don't know what my bigger purpose is than that. So I just think like all of that, I mean, I literally felt like I was in therapy for the last 30 minutes, just in my own life. So I thank all of y'all for showing up to my therapy session today, with Melissa. But I would love to hear, either unmute yourself and let us know, like, what's like either a question that you have, because between Melissa and I, we can probably figure it out. And like, what's a question you have, and or what is something that like really stood out to you that you were like light bulbs, like you have, like I have like little clouds around things and stars next to things and stuff. So don't take too long, like unmute and go.
I'll go. For me, the light bulb moment is recognition. I am very goal-based and to-do list based. And sometimes when I do recognition, I feel like, did it really matter? Like, what did it make a difference for somebody? And so then I'll step away from it, because 99% of the time you don't get the feedback back from them. And so that's a big one for me, just doing it and making that recognition an important piece, not to know whether it's working or not, but just to do it.
I love that so much. Can I add something to that? I promise I'm not going to add every time. But one thing that you just said that really stuck out to me is I don't get feedback. And can I tell you that we live in a world that we aren't recognized? And so when we are recognized with love and when we're celebrated, I promise you the majority of us don't know what to do with it. Because it feels good, but we've always been pushed down so much and not recognized and told we didn't hit the mark. And then we're celebrated and we're like, I've got this emotion that I don't know what to do. And I'm a little bit embarrassed. And oh my gosh, I just was put in the limelight and I don't know how I feel about that. So I would say keep doing it, because you are leading and pioneering a pathway of changing someone's life, of realizing what that actually feels like inside. And I think that we're embarrassed to give feedback, to go, you recognized me. But I promise if you do it over and over again, there will come a year that people say, because I was celebrated and recognized, I am the person I am today. So I just want to speak that over you, because I think so much of the work that we do as leaders, we're changing a pathway for people and they don't even know how to take in that emotion of being loved in that way.
That's so true. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Well, and I wonder if like we just model like just recognition, like we model, oh, I got the sweetest note from someone today. Like we are just saying like making sure if you get that voice message or you get a sweet like message from someone on your team, it doesn't have to be team based, but anything that we're modeling that, like, okay, I know that this is awkward. I know I don't know how to say thank you for it. I know I don't know how to step into that, but I'm going to model that, because the more I do it, then the more normal it becomes of, like just being aware of like the nicest, like even just saying something sweet someone else did for you during the day. I love it when I get on Instagram, someone's like, the nicest thing just happened to me at Target today. This is what happened. And you're like, oh, there's good people in the world. Or there's a whole Instagram profile called Good News. I think it's Good News Network or something. And we all love that. Like I was showing Joe the other day, this guy was just loving on this other man, just for just being kind and giving out this newspaper. And I just think we want to see that. And if we show that, like we're stepping into that space for people to kind of let them know how to do it. Krista says she can't unmute, but her light bulb moment was speaking positive words to herself during the day. And she says she wrote a note to herself and to put reminder words in my phone after this call. I need this for my business and parenting. And I think that's so key. And what Melissa says, everything that she's talking about in those 5 areas, we can literally step out of our plexus businesses and step into parenting. If you have teenagers, I just want to, pray a small blessing over you. Like so many marriage, like, I mean, do you have purpose in your marriage? Are you speaking with joy in your marriage? Do you have positive words in your marriage or in any relationship? Like, I just think like there's so many areas that you can take this. And if you practice it in an area that's maybe easier for you to kind of digest these places, then moving them into your business is so seamless. So I think that's really Thank you, Krista, for sharing that. Okay, anybody else?
Okay, I have had the privilege of being trained by Melissa. And so I'm going to share one of her tips that she gave me when we were talking about being present. I'm great about getting up. She will tell you, I get up and I do my Bible time and I do my IPA. That is how I roll every single day. I spend my couple hours doing my win the day early. But when we talked on a coaching call about how was I going to like avoid distraction, she said, put your phone on airplane mode. And maybe everybody on this call does this, and I did not. I was on do not disturb, and sometimes I was still getting, nonsense around me. Y'all, it's so good. So she has lots of tips, and she celebrates and loves her team really well. So thank you for training us today. And thank you, Andrea, because you pour into all of us, and I appreciate you.
Isn't that fun about our company? Is it like Chris and Melissa are essentially on a different team for me, like nobody gets paid for what all of us do, except, up to Roz. But we truly do love like sharing life together, but also like just like building each other up. Like if I could build up Melissa to double diamond, it would be like if just encouragement, like if I could just like, yeah, she's like, please. If like I just got to be like a small piece of like just the encouragement and just the, to lift her up, like it's the greatest joy. And that is the neatest thing about our company. I don't know why it's making me teary, but there are people all over this company. And when Melissa's talking about the people that were speaking at Leaders of Excellence, I know that Robin has spoke so much life into Melissa, and none of us connect to Robin until like, for us, the two of us, 3, I think levels up to Jenny. So it is so incredible. We all have these big businesses and we all have family lives and we all have all this stuff. But if we can just pour a little bit of wisdom, hope, belief, joy into each other and just say, you can do this. You can do hard things. I've seen you do hard things. And the fact that we've done this for almost a decade together is crazy. And that we get to see each other's like weaknesses and we get to speak into like their strengths, all of that. So if you are wondering if at any moment you're in the wrong company, I just want you to just hold fast to some belief that this is an amazing company structured in such a way that they are not pitting women against each other. They have literally built a company on women encouraging other women to grow massive businesses, and and to give back and to be joy and to pull someone else up with them. Like it's actually a really incredible. I just love that Chris spoke into that. And anybody else hate airplane mode because you're afraid you're going to miss something? I'm just gonna say it. So that's a challenge because it's like, oh, I'll put my phone face down or I'll put my phone on do not disturb. But airplane mode's like serious business. You're like, I'm not even gonna like talk myself into getting on Instagram or Facebook to do work. I'm gonna do some intentional work without without getting distracted by all the other things. And to me, that's like taking that intention meter and like that's bumping it up. That may be 2 spots. You may get 2 numbers for that one because that's some serious no distraction right there. Okay, who else has something that either they want to ask? Go ahead, Christy.
Okay, so I'll say my strongest is celebrate the small wins. That's something on my own health journey I taught myself to do because it was a really long journey. I'm still on that journey. So that's something I feel, but that was not natural for me. I had to build that muscle. And the muscle that I know this and I say, oh yeah, I got to do that. It is the positive words, the affirmations, and I'll be good with it for a little bit. And then life happens and marriage and children and, everything. And then I stop and I don't even realize that I stop. And then I'll have a call like this. That's like, oh, so this is what you need to do. So things that I've done in the past, I'm going to do the alarm thing because this is now the second time I've heard that. But I put like a dry erase marker on my windows and on my mirrors. What are some other? Because I need it like, in my face kind of a thing to really I never grew up with that. So it's I'm teaching myself how to build myself up and all of those things. So what are some other suggestions you could give for that?
I know for me, I still have paper calendar. So you'll see me put it at the top of my days. I put it a lot of times at the beginning, like I have a full, the month at a glance, and I put words at the top of speaking words for the month. So I put them there. I have sticky notes everywhere on my laptop. So kind of like you having the visual, in your bathroom or different things like that. Those are the big ones for me. I think the phone one for me is such a big one because it always comes at moments that I'm not expecting it to come. So just like we started this training and mine went off. But it actually resets me in my day every single time. It resets me of changing perspective, being able to see what's happening and being present in the moment and bringing back intention. So that one's always been a great one for me that I learned probably 3 years ago from Brenda Burchard. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of him. He's an incredible life coach, business coach. And I was with him for 6 months and he kind of changed my whole world on purpose and vision and setting myself up with good habits that actually bring life and, help you move the needle of what your vision is.
I've heard about people doing it with their kids. And sometimes when you're doing it with your kids, when you're speaking, because it's interesting that you talked about being kind of first generation joy. If you think about it that way, Christy, is that if you go ahead and start passing those habits, those words, if you speak specific words out loud over your children, then you're hearing those words as well. And you're speaking that into them. And then you're having them remind you, like, okay, tell me why God created you for a purpose. Tell me why you believe that, like what's your intention for today? Like if you go through those 5 things just with your kids, like either at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, that's like almost like another way of like reaffirming in your head, like these things matter. And if they matter to me, if it matters that I pour them into my kids, I have to pour them into myself, or you're just not going to be pouring from an empty cup. So I do think anywhere that you can pour like belief into your kids, I think you tend to kind of like the cup overflows a little bit and you get a little bit of yourself too. Ellen's asking, I may have missed something, but Ellen said, what books are your favorites on purpose and positive words besides the ones that you mentioned? Or anything that you have just read that you're like, I think Brendan Burchard, I think he has a podcast, doesn't he? So you can go in and listen to that too. But what other things do you feel like have been really impactful for you?
Yeah, I was just looking over at my list of books. I think Caroline Leaf has great ones. Her big one, which I'm trying to see the name of it. I might have to give it to you after we're off, Andrea, but it's all on words. It's based on scripture, which is just incredible, on changing your brain. That's a really big one for me. Visionary for Andy Stanley is a really big one for me, on purpose. So those would be my 2 big ones that come off the top of my head. And then honestly, like the Word of God, period. So that's just, I'm sorry. I know that you hate hearing, not hate, but like everyone says, Jesus is the right answer for everything. But that's where I get most of my positive words, is the Word of God, and stick it everywhere.
Okay, here's a question I have, just knowing you personally. You are so intentional about moving your body, but that's a really light way to say the girl is fueled by working out, like in such an incredible, like boss babe way. What is it that actually gets you to the gym every day? And then I'll be honest, and then showered and your hair done afterwards, because that's really where I get lost. I can maybe make it to the gym or shower and dry my hair, but you get Jill raising her hand, but you get them both done every day and you work your business really well. What is it that drives you to get all of that done? And I know y'all think that's crazy, but it's a true question of like, the girl is intentional about her day. So what is it that sets you up to actually get all of that done?
Oh, I do have to laugh, y'all. This was a hair day. I washed my hair today, so I have big hair today. Look, I could be a chia pet. Seriously, that's all I have to do. So I thought, oh my gosh, I have to wash my hair today because I'm doing my diamonds in December today. And so y'all get hair done. Usually I go 5 or 6 days without washing my hair because I go to the gym as much as I do. So I could have been a hat day today, but I will say what fuels me is let's go back. I digress. Honestly, guys, it truly does go back to the fullness of my story of just being alive today. So, saying celebrate your wins. My win every day is whenever I wake up and have breath and life is a praise, because I really was the girl that should have died, 30 years ago. And the Lord saved me spiritually and physically. So everything that motivates and pushes me, I was sharing last night with some friends that, and I'm 58. Can we bleep that part out in this recording somehow? But my life is, I still have 15 years, big years ahead of me. Everything I do is to fuel my 15 years from today. I mean, honestly, everything I do is because I know my purpose. I know my calling. I know what is ahead of me, and I cannot do it without intentionality, moving my body. Flexibility is longevity. Gut health is longevity. And so I'm just grateful to have life every day. But, exercise is my coping mechanism. So it saved my life, and it continues to save my life every day. So it's just part of what I do.
I think it's so amazing, how intentional you are, but I love the fact that it's I knew my purpose. And when I knew my purpose, then I could set my intention. And when I could set my intention, then I'm choosing positive words, which is you're getting your rear end out of bed. You're putting on your tennis shoes. You can do this. You're a big girl. You can do this. And then celebrating the small things, which I'm guessing you do all the time with working out. I see you do it on social, but I'm guessing just in your personal life, you do it as well. I'm so proud of myself for completing that class. I'm so proud of myself for going a little harder or a little longer or doing something new that I hadn't done before, and then giving back. I honestly think you may think this is nuts, but when you post about it on social, I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm going to the gym. Here we go. And so it sounds weird, but sometimes living your life out loud reminds other people that they can do it too. They're strong enough, they have breath, go elliptical or treadmill or whatever you need to do. And I just think in a weird way, you being so alive on social media allows us to go, okay, I'm going and doing it too. I can do this. So I just think
it's share real quick, guys. To be intentional today starts last night. So me getting up at 4:00 this morning started last night of what I did last night. A lot of people, you do what you do. We all do to cope. Some people might have an extra drink at night. Some people might watch an extra episode of Netflix and go to bed super late. Some people might eat something really late at night because they want comfort, but you really should have 3 hours between your last meal and your bedtime. So we do things at night to comfort us from our day and to quote download, and we think that we deserve it, which I applaud you, you probably do. But if you want to be intentional with every single day, your night has to be pretty solid with intentionality so that your next day can be everything that you desire for it to be. So I think that's a big, big, big piece, is you waking up in the morning and already knowing everything that you want to do is because you prepared yourself the night before,
Oh, that'll preach. Anybody else go, oh, what did I do last night before his day? I know I was in the ER till midnight last night, and that does not set you up for the great day today with one of our kids. But it is so true. The night before, if we go to bed at 10 o'clock, we are amazing the next day. We're amazing parents. We go to the gym, we do all the things. And if we have a late night for anything, it really will and I love the fact that you call the things that they are, and they are coping mechanisms. And whether you want to cope, you want to deal with your coping mechanisms at night and all these things that will set you up for maybe a really rough start to your next day, or you want to start to nix some of those coping mechanisms, maybe one at a time, go to bed earlier and earlier, be healthier and healthier, and then set up the day with what you called working out as a coping mechanism, but also as a really healthy like jump start of, if I can burn some calories and I can get on there and I can just go all out on a machine or whatever, or in a class, and then my day flies so much better. Like what a flip. Does anyone else see that flip just in the world of rewarding ourselves at the end of the night, instead of almost like rewarding ourselves in the morning, first thing, I don't know, about 4 a.m. That's going to take me some time, but rewarding yourself in the morning for almost like giving yourself that big celebrate. You can, I mean, heck, you could start every day with a celebrate win. If you woke up early in the morning and went to the gym, I'm just saying I'd be celebrating myself the rest of the day. Y'all would see it all over social media. If I woke up at 4 a.m. and went to the gym, y'all would know about it. So I just think that, I mean, Ellen's even saying my routine needs an overhaul, like such an intention, but you have to know your purpose first. Right. And so I think for all of us, I don't know about y'all, I'm going to be journaling today, just writing out some things like, what is my purpose? Talking to my husband, talking to some friends, and just saying like, what do you think your purpose is? Not that I want to borrow it, but I just, maybe sometimes you kind of need like an outline to work off of. So Melissa, any final words for us before we head into the end of November and going into December? Any wisdom you want to impart before we log off today?
No, I mean, I say no and then I keep talking. Yes. Something that just like literally came back to mind that I meant to say at the very beginning. So I just want to say it right here. First of all, thanks for being here and sticking with us. But I was sharing with you guys about leadership of excellence and talking about just you showing up here right now and putting it on your schedule and participating intentionally. But whenever I was preparing for today with you guys and thinking through the excellence of our trainers at Leadership of Excellence, as well as Gold School, like I said, our corporate, like they do excellent work with who they choose. But I'm very much of a visual person. And I thought of the people that I didn't know what faces I would see today. But all I thought about is many of you will be emeralds and sapphires and diamonds. You will be on stages training. You will be impacting in ways that leave a magnificent legacy, without a doubt. And it's so exciting to kind of see faces, and we're all going to get to cheer each other on. But it all starts with, how are you sustaining yourself? How are you fueling yourself? What type of joy, and are you consistently having that joy? And how are you setting intention every single day? Like, it all comes to right here. We all have a vision and a dream, but we have to fuel it. And so I just kind of want to end with that, because I know that many of your faces will be on stages and impacting. Many of you will be in Zoom boxes and impacting, because honestly, we do so much impact virtually now versus in person. But in the end, we're all called to impact a soul, a person. But it starts with how you set intention and, having joy in your life. So just want to end with that.
That gave me goosebumps. I'm excited. Honestly, I'm excited for the next round. I'm excited for all of y'all to be emerald, sapphires, and diamonds speaking from stage, and for us to get to sit and glean wisdom from your journeys and everything that you've learned. So we will go ahead, and y'all need to start marking some stuff on the calendars on when you're planning on speaking and leading and all of those things. I'm excited to hear your impact, and we will see y'all next Monday. Bye, y'all.